Hello, I'm Beverly Thompson. Welcome to CityLife, dedicated to keeping you informed on Durham's important news and events. If you don't have a job, then you know how difficult it is to find one, especially in this economy. Well, there is help out there. Joining me to talk about what Durham is doing to help job seekers is Nick McCoy and Jeff Bennis. Nick is a senior workforce development manager with the city's Office of Economic and Workforce Development. Jeff is the vice president at ACW Technology Incorporated. Welcome, Nick and Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Nick, let's just get started with you right off the bat. How has the recession affected job seekers in Durham?
It's been a tough year. It's been a tough year and a half. I was mentioning to Jeff as we were walking in, a year and a half ago, every day we were getting sort of notices from companies that were either laying off more than 50 individuals or were shutting their doors. It was an unfortunate reality as part of the recession, something that we had to deal with internally as a department, as a system through the Job Link Career Center. Essentially what we did was work at providing opportunities for connecting job seekers to businesses that we knew that existed within Durham. It was a double-edged sword. On one half of the sword, we were seeing individuals that were definitely being laid off, and high numbers of unemployment. But compared to the rest of the country and the rest of the state, we fared a little bit better. Durham fared a little bit better. So, for example, whereas even though our unemployment doubled from about a year and a half ago, from 3.5 to approximately about a year ago to about 7.5, 8%, that was still better than the national and the state averages. And so what that meant in the long term is that there were jobs, or there are jobs in Durham. Our number one priority was connecting Durham residents to those jobs.
Well, let's talk about ACW, but tell me, first of all, what the company does, and then tell me about the impact of the recession on your company.
Yes, ACW Technology is an electronic assembly manufacturing company. So we build and manufacture electronic assemblies, computers, lighting fixtures, any type of electromechanical assembly that companies need. For example, IBM might come to us, or Cisco might come to us and say, can you build these products for us? And we will go ahead and build those. This was an unusual situation, recession-wise. We started this operation here in Durham in February of last year. The corporate headquarters is located in the United Kingdom. So this is a British-owned company. And they had always wanted to start a company in the United States, preferably the East Coast. They had contacted me, and we got connected and worked together, and they decided to open up a site here in Durham. The recession actually helped this transition to the East Coast, because with the recession comes better leasing arrangements with buildings, better opportunities to hire lots of people, because there's lots of people looking for jobs. So it was a good time to start a company, in spite of the fact that you might think a recession might be bad.
Right, right. There was a positive side to
there was a positive side to a negative situation.
Well, I was going to ask you how the recession impacted ACW Technology and your hiring practices. So talk a little bit about how it actually impacted your hiring practices then.
It actually helps the hiring practices, because there are a lot of very good, talented people out there looking for a job. When the governor made her announcement about ACW starting, we received close to 700 resumes.
Wow.
Without even soliciting for resumes. They just poured in. And so we're able to look through a lot of resumes, and there's a lot of qualified people out there.
Well, good. I guess it was good to hear from your company's perspective.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Nick, what new ways has the city come up with to respond to the recession and the overall impact on Durham residents as far as employment goes?
Been a couple key things. So as I mentioned, it is very important, like I said, when we know there are jobs in Durham, our number one priority is getting job seekers the skills that are going to make them marketable and are competitive to get those jobs, to get their foot in the door and then present themselves well when a company like ACW has opportunities. You have folks that, for example, through the last year and a half, who may have been laid off and have been with the company for let's say 20 years and had not done a resume, or have not needed to interview and never thought of updating their resume, and then overnight they're back into trying to figure out, how do I present myself, how do I get out and market myself. And so a couple of key things is that we started a professional placement network for professionals who were laid off over the last couple of years that were looking to get back into the workforce. And so essentially the professional placement network, it meets on the third Thursday of every month, and it allows for networking opportunities for these professionals, and then as well as sort of sessions. So if you had been in your textile industry your entire life, you were laid off, and you're looking to retool yourself, folks come together and they just talk. There are sessions on, for example, we had a session a month ago on LinkedIn, how to use technology to your benefit. And so that's one of the key things that we've done to really try to coalesce around opportunities for professionals, laid off professionals. As well as we've worked on providing different sites for our job link services. During the height of the recession, we had a mobile job link unit on loan from the state of North Carolina Department of Commerce that essentially was a one-stop employment and training hub, and you could go in and you could see any of the 2,000 jobs that were posted in the Durham Job Link Center, and see if you qualified, see if your qualifications could be a potential match. We made thousands of referrals through that. It was a mobile unit that was parked in Northgate lot in front of the Sears. We had thousands of people use it, folks who had never stepped into a Job Link Center. We're just starting to see the availability of these types of resources that are in the community. As well as that the success of that has really kind of opened up opportunities to have a long-term permanent site at Northgate, which to be responsive and meet the demands of job seekers within this community, to just provide another resource for folks. So that'll be opening in the late winter, early spring of 2011.
Well, Jeff, let me ask you, was that a resource that your company found useful?
Very useful. We engaged with the Durham Economic Development Office early on in our development, months before we actually got aboard with our site and opened the company. And the Durham office helped us engage with the city. It helped us engage with services that are available. And of course, we're linked in with the Job Link network. And so a lot of our resumes come through the Job Link.
Okay. And what kind of employment opportunities do you have?
Right. Well, we are a manufacturing company, so the bulk of our workforce is manufacturing, mechanical assembly of electronic parts, soldering, electronic assemblies, running machines that place components on electronic assemblies, and so it's what I would consider medium to light manufacturing. There are office jobs, there are engineering jobs.
And you still have openings?
We do. I was the first employee. We now have 55 employees, and we'll probably get up to 150 in the next year and a half.
Wow, that is incredible. That's awesome in this economy.
It is.
Yeah. Now, Nick, I understand that the city is also focusing some resources on young parents in terms of green job training programs. Give our viewers a little bit more information about that.
So over the last year, we were very aggressive in trying to bring in competitive dollars into the city, and specifically around training opportunities, because again, when there were limited jobs and more people competing for those jobs, it was very important to retool and or retrain folks so that they had the skills that met the need or the demand for those positions. So over the last year, we've actually brought in about $725,000 from different grants, one from the Department of Commerce, from the state, one from the Walmart Foundation in partnership with Builders of Hope, which is a local green construction organization. So essentially we're working with a number of partners to do short-term training that we know that are going to increase the skill sets on both the soft skills, on, what does it mean to show up on time for young parents? What does it mean how do you coordinate your daycare, your transportation, so that you can make sure that once you get your foot into the door, that you're going to sustain employment. So we work on that level, but on the other side, you're actually getting the hard skill sets of the green construction. So everything from weatherizing, commercial or a residential space to deconstruction. Everything from the floor up in terms of construction efforts. So these participants of the program, we have an opportunity to train up to 85 young parents, ages 16 to 24, in these skill sets and then work once it's a paid training for approximately 5 months on the job training, where they're actually at a Builders of Hope construction site. Once they finish that, then we work at trying to connect them with all of the skills, the resume, to a number of the jobs that we know that exist or are opportunities within Durham. So, and then really use the JobLink Center as a conduit for that, for these
That's
supports.
impressive. That is really good. I mean, people don't think about everything you need to know to get a job from soup to nuts.
Right.
But Nick, I understand also that there's another program that you oversee is the ExOffenders Program. Now, there's been a lot of discussion in the news about that. Talk about what you're doing to help ex-offenders actually get connected to employment.
Through the City Employment and Training Services, we do have a program that works with approximately 150 ex-offenders every year. We've been released within the last 2 years. These are individuals that are looking to reconnect back to the workforce. And so we provide coordinated efforts between providing case management, career counseling, training, on-the-job training, paid internships, so that one, we can sort of minimize the risk for a business or an employer who says, you know, I think that this person, you know, I don't know a lot of their work history, I don't know how they're going to impact my bottom line. We come in, we say, okay, we can provide a paid on-the-job training. You can get a sense of who this individual is, and if they don't work, it's no cost to the company. It's, you know, it's supported through this program. And so essentially, you know, we find, especially in this economy, you know, it's beneficial for all Durham residents to connect to employment, specifically ex-offenders, because the numbers show that, you know, that once an ex-offender who's been out, if they connect to long-term sustainable employment, their chances of committing another crime and leading back to recidivism or heading back into prison is reduced dramatically. And so, you know, and everybody's bottom line is impacted, a healthier society in general.
Nick, I know we've covered a lot of ground today, in fact, with both of you. If our viewers want more information about how to get in touch with your office, what do they need to do?
Our website is www.durhamworkforce.org. It gives you sort of a breakdown of all of the services that are available to Durham job seekers. And then it talks a little bit about the Durham Workforce Development Board and the system as a whole and what the opportunities are within Durham. Or they can reach the Office of Economic and Workforce Development at 919-560-4965 for more information.
Okay. And Jeff, we do have a little bit of time left. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share about ACW Technology and your efforts to get good qualified workers?
Yes. You know, even though the recession is a negative event, you really have to look at the positive side and how am I going to turn this into an opportunity, and you know, you can always do something regardless of, you know, the walls collapsing in on you. You can, you know, make a good situation out of a bad situation. I would offer to folks that are still looking for a job, just continue on and don't give up.
Yeah,
and you know, while you have some downtime, do something creative and constructive. Maybe pick up some classes in schools and things like that. And very important to network. You know, talk to everybody you know. Network, and eventually something will come around. And the economy, I believe, you know, has stopped free falling, has stabled out, and we're seeing signs of some improvement.
Good. That is so good to hear. I tell you, on so many levels. Any final thoughts you'd like to offer?
I think I want to echo what Jeff mentioned. I think it's very important that, you know, there are opportunities in Durham, and as a matter of fact, more opportunities in Durham than a lot of other areas in the country and throughout the state. And so I think, you know, if you are looking, there are resources. For example, this professional placement network that meets on the third Thursdays. There are a number of programs that potentially can even support you if you're looking to retrain or find retraining. There may be dollars available, training dollars that could come through these programs that can help you retool yourself. And that's the main thing. I think it's just your persistence, and I think the networking as well. I mean, I think the more aggressive that the individual is in trying to create that next opportunity, the higher the success we see it every day.
All right. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
It's just such an important thing to talk about, especially in today's economy, how to help people find jobs, and appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Let's take a quick break. But before we do, quick question. Do you have what it takes to be a Durham police officer? We'll find out right after these quick messages. We'll be right back.